Hello and thanks for joining. I'm Andrew Axum with Axum Outdoor Adventure, Axeman on the Slingshot forum, and today's my day off, so like most of my days off, I'm out here in the backyard shooting my slingshot, just getting a little target practice, enjoying the weather, and I had a band break. Recently on a video I had mentioned that I would do a video on making new bands. Didn't intend to do that today, but I also didn't intend to break one today, so seems like the perfect time to make that video. Follow me into the garage. Okay, so we're here in the garage at my workbench, and the first thing you're going to need to make your bands is the actual banding material. Today I'm going to be using Precise 0.4 millimeter. There's other good brands out there. Slingshot makes some good banding material. Sniper Sling, I actually have a couple of rolls of that ordered, but they're not here yet. So today, this is what I'm using. So after you get your bands cut, you're going to want a pouch to tie them to. And today I got a few different pouches here. These are, this one is from Wasp. I mentioned that in a previous video. This is a little microfiber by Precise, the same company that makes the banding material. I happened to buy a 20 pack of those for I think $4 or $5 at one point, and they're decent little pouches. But what I'm going to be tying up today is my Warrior pouch. These are a little more expensive. I think I paid $16 for 3 of these, but this particular one is actually made of kangaroo leather. Just great. I can't really describe what it is about them, just the perfect thickness, and they just kind of form to your finger after you use them for a while. That's the other thing about the pouches is these last for a while, whereas the bands, once they break, you got to throw them away and make some new ones. You can reuse your pouches, and you're going to want to, because it'll add up. So after you get your bands and your pouches, there is the final piece of the band set. You're going to have something to tie the pouches onto the bands. Couple different options. Well, there's a lot of different options, but I have a couple of different ones. This is called crystal string. I think it's actually used for making jewelry and stuff, but it works great for tying your pouches onto your bands, and it's a flexible string, sort of. And the other option here is called amber tape. Very similar. It's stretchy. It's thicker than the string. It's a little tape type material. So some of the tools you're going to need to make these is first of all a rotary cutter. You can find these Hobby Lobby, places like that, probably Lowe's, Menards. Fairly cheap. I think I paid maybe, I don't know, $10, $15 for this. And you're going to want some blades to go with it. Sharp blades are pretty important for cutting latex. You're going to want a self-healing mat to do your cutting on. And you don't necessarily have to have these, but I found this really handy. It's a taper ruler. This clear piece kind of slides in and out, and you set your tapers on either end and put your material under there, use that edge, and you can cut straight tapers with that. It's pretty handy. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is roll your material out on your mat and give yourself enough length, because you're going to need a little extra length on either end. You're going to have a little to fold over to tie into your pouch, and you're going to need some extra length on the fork end to tie into that. My active band length is 6 inches, so there's a formula for figuring out your active band length and your draw length and stuff, and I can show you that at another time. But so I like to cut mine right at about 7 inches. So you're going to take your rotary cutter, and you're going to want to be careful, because yeah, I'm making myself dizzy, but I cut my thumb there a few days ago. It's healed up fairly well now, but you can cut yourself. So after you get your piece cut to the length that you need, I did 7 inches, I'm going to turn it this way. The reason I'm going to do that is because for me, using one of these taper rulers, is it's a little easier. I'm right-handed. It's a little easier for me to work from this side. So I have my ruler set for 20 millimeters on the fork side and 18 on the pouch end. It's not a very aggressive taper. The more aggressive taper you go with, the more speed you're going to get, but also the less longevity you're going to get out of your bands. So I went with 20 and 18. And you're going to take your taper ruler, line it up so that the edge is flush with the edge of the black part there. You're going to take your circular cutter. You have to be careful with this. If you're not, you will run up on the side and cut into the plastic. I've done that a lot, but there is one of your bands. So once you get your band cut, your one side, what you can do is you can flip that over so that when you continue to cut that taper, you're making this piece kind of square or flush again. That way you can eliminate waste. So I'm going to cut the other side. There you have your two bands. So the next thing I like to do is just take a ruler here, and I like to, as you can see, this is 7 inches like we cut the initial piece. I like to make a mark on the pouch end of both bands at 1/2 inch. Because I like to try to make that little tab, like on these bands I already have, that little tab that goes through there, I like to try to use 1/2 inch on the piece that I fold through, and then I cut the excess off. So I'm going to be using this Warrior pouch today, kangaroo leather, and I like to take these. I found it easier myself to kind of roll these with my thumb, kind of roll it just to get it through. And you're going to want to make sure that your little tab ears on there are going to be on the outside of your pouch, outside of your band. It's going to kind of make a tri-fold like that when you're done. And so with the Warrior pouches, the side that says Warrior is going to be the inside of the pouch. So you're going to want to put it through like so. I like to put it up to that 1/2 inch mark, kind of unroll that roll a little bit so it's not tightly rolled in there, it's more of a tri-fold. So on this jig, you take your pouch, you put your center hole on that little peg there sort of, and keeping your tri-folds there if you can. You sort of fold that over against the rest of the material. You slide it into the jig and you clamp the bottom shut there. Now you're going to use your tying material. I'm going to use, I think, the amber tape today. I'm going to cut off, let's see, a 6-7 inch piece. And you're going to start on the bottom. This is how I do it. And you want this tight, and you want it up against the pouch as close as you can get it. Now with the amber tape, I found you only have to go around about 3 times. With the crystal string, I do 5. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then when you come back around, I just tie a simple knot here. I think that's called a square knot. I don't know. I never was in the Boy Scouts. You're going to tie that, And then this part's a little gross, but what you're going to want to do is use a little bit of spit. And I tie 3 knots, put a little bit of spit on each one. 2 and 3. Take the excess, cut it off there. So no holes, that's good. And I'm going to continue, do the same thing with the other side, and then we're going to take this band out, see how it shoots. So I'm back out in the backyard, got the new band set tied on the frame, made myself a little target here. So that's just kind of a snapshot of how I make bands. A lot of guys enjoy making them. I really enjoy making them. I encourage you to try if you haven't. It's not really that expensive to make in the long run. It's cheaper to make your own. I have read online some comments from guys that say they don't want to make their own. They prefer to spend the time out shooting and practicing. I totally understand that. I, on the other hand, enjoy it. I think it's a really fun part of the hobby, and I encourage you to try it. I've actually put some of mine for sale on eBay and Etsy, and just for those guys that don't want to do it, but I would encourage everybody to try. It's cheaper to do it yourself, and it's a lot of fun, I think. So looking at my target here, I got 5 out of my 10 shots in the bullseye there, so not too bad, I don't think, but give it a try. See if you enjoy it, and if you don't, there are plenty of guys that will sell you some online. But I think you'll find that it's a really rewarding and fun part of the hobby. So whatever you do, get out there and shoot, have fun, enjoy slingshotting, and I'll see you next time.